I have been trying to figure out what are the most impactful ways I can be involved in the work of changing our culture because it desperately needs to be changed. Um, I think we can all agree on that, no matter where we fall on any issues. I think we can all agree that what we're living through right now sucks. And we deserve better, and we can have better, we can get better, but we have to be willing to get uncomfortable. We have to be willing to face some really hard truths. We have to be willing to have a reckoning and really come face to face with who we are as a country, how this country was built, um, and who benefits from the systems that it was built upon. Because it's not us. It's not the people that built the country who were the enslaved people. It's not the people who were run off their land and decimated in so many horrific ways. No, then none of those people have benefited from this setup. And most of us haven't. Most of us white folks, yeah, white folks make up the majority for sure of billionaire, millionaire, multimillionaire class, that those folks majority white. But white folks are also a huge chunk of the impoverished population. We are a huge chunk of those people who, with one crisis, one emergency, one accident, one something that requires $2,000 could bankrupt them. We are barely surviving. All of us. And some of us have not survived. A lot of us have not survived because we haven't cared about each other enough. I know I keep coming back to that, but it's because that's it. That's the secret to all of it. We just have to care about each other. And I know it sounds impossible. And I know how much easier it is to hold on to hate because I have done it my whole life. But I am trying. It's not easy. I will be the very first to admit it. I am trying to really, truly forgive my mother for her role in allowing my abuse and not really doing anything to help me heal from any of it. And my brother, who was one of my abusers, he would beat me. He would make me feel awful about myself. I genuinely thought he was about to kill me a couple of times. But I do not know anything about his story. That's his to tell. But I have guesses as to what could have happened, educated guesses as to what could have happened that made him so angry so young, which I never understood as we were growing up, because in my head I was still needing to protect myself from the fact that my parents weren't protecting me. So for most of my life, I lived under this delusion that once I told my mother, my parents had done everything they could to make sure I was safe. They had kicked him out of the house right away, my pedophile grandfather. Um, but that wasn't true. He was there for months. My mother can't remember how long because it's too painful a memory. She doesn't want to remember, so her brain has shut that down from her. Um, that's what our brains do to protect us. And for her, that was a trauma response because that's how she learned to respond to the trauma she went through as a child, was to shut down. And I think for my brother, it was another form of abuse that he experienced. Maybe, I doubt I was my grandfather's first victim. Let's put it that way. I do not know anything to the contrary, but I doubt that I was his first because he was in his 70s and I don't think he would have waited that long to indulge. Um, and oh my God, I have carried hate in him from my heart for so long. I hate him so much. It's like it's in my fibers. I can feel the hate coursing through me right now. Like it's warm. I can feel it happening. And that hate, I don't know, it helped me stay angry enough to fight for myself. So it served a purpose. My hate for him did serve a purpose, and I think same for my brother, for my mother, my father. It served a purpose. It was what I needed in order to go through my healing process. And until I had gone through it, I couldn't feel anything but hate because I was in so much pain and I didn't understand why. I didn't understand why. What was it about me that meant it was fine to do all of that to me? But it wasn't me. It was my brother's pain coming out, and I was the only release he had for that. I was the only outlet for his anger because I couldn't fight back. I was much smaller than him, 6 years younger. So yeah, whenever he felt like he was losing any kind of control, I think that's when he would explode. And I don't have to let him back into my life. I don't know if that would be safe for me on every level. I don't know if it would be safe. I am still trying to figure out if I can't even say I can't even say want. Want is the word that is like choking me right now. Because I don't want him back in my life. I know I don't. But if I want people to forgive me for my worst moments, for the moments when my pain eked out, and I will, as deeply, deeply, deeply ashamed as I am, I will admit that when my depression was at its worst, my cat Jazz, she was who I took a lot of my anger out on. Like she had a lot of food aggression from from the start, she was a foster, and then obviously now a forever kitty. And like her food aggression was intense. She would just grab things off your plate. She would constantly hound. You could not leave anything on the counter. It was a lot. It was stressful. And there were moments when she was trying to grab my dinner and I was so exhausted and I could not figure out what was wrong with me, why I couldn't get past certain things, why I couldn't figure out how to move on with my life, how to not be miserable. And before my current job, I was miserable by the end of my previous job. And coming home every day from work, I hated knowing that I was going to be spending the night alone with no human to talk with, and that the next day I was just going to go through it all over again and just continue to be miserable and continue to feel so frustrated in a job that I hadn't really loved once, and just continue to feel so lonely and isolated. So in my moments of weakness, when she was like in my face, I would yell at her. Like, I'm so deeply ashamed of it. I really am. But I would yell at her, like really yell at her, not just a like raise your voice so they pay attention and can stop them from doing something dangerous kind of yell, like a I'm pissed at you yell. And no one deserves to be spoken to like that. No one. And she definitely didn't. She didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve for me to like shove her away from me, not just like gently nudge her away or like encourage her to go in a different direction, but like I would push her away. She didn't deserve that. But I didn't have anyone else to take my anger out on. And I had so much anger in me. Anger for my parents, anger for my grandfather, anger for my brother, anger that I don't know whether or not to be angry at my grandmother, angry at every guy who I had fallen in love with along the way and ended up breaking my heart. I lost my thread. I got distracted by Marlo. Hi, Marlo. Oh, who's a good dog? So Marlo is temporarily staying across the hall and has major separation anxiety. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Hello. Oh my goodness. So, hello. So, when his mom, who is crashing at our neighbor's place until Friday, when she goes off to work, this one, like, howls, barks so loud all day. And I caught her, like, oh, thanks. Thank you. Thank you. We got a chance to talk in the hallway when she came home today for her lunch break. And so I get to babysit him now for the next few days. Yeah, so that the baby next door can sleep. Yeah. And so that we don't give everyone in the apartment complex a blinding headache. So now I have thank you. I haven't been licked on my thank you. On my eyelid in quite some time. Hello. Are we good now? Oh my gosh. Oh my god, like such a Desperate for attention, pupper. Yeah, hi. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You really, really always want eyes on you, hands on you, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. I completely forget what I was talking about before. I'm sorry. I will end this video with dog kisses because I'm sure that is gonna leave you much happier than wherever that rant was going. Okay. Say bye, Marlo. Bye, Marlo.